For Palmer, documents are seen he regards equally significant as the military action, especially because it features women.
These young women, representative of the flower of Spanish womanhood, are waiting outside a hospital to make blood donations to their cause. They are volunteers and, of course, undergo a preliminary examination to ensure that their blood is of the type and quality needed. All nationalist services have been built up by the Spanish people themselves, with very little help from outside. This applies particularly to the work of caring for the sick and wounded, which had to be organized from the ground up. Today it gives more prompt and efficient service than has been available to the injured in any previous war. A Basque physician, Dr. Elosegui of the Nationalist Medical Corps, directs the collection and conservation of blood and its transport to the front. Since this is a long-distance transfusion, the methods employed are unique and interesting. An incision is made usually in the forearm of the donor, and this is connected by a tube to a specially prepared flask. The skill of the surgeon and the deftness with which he acts simplifies the ordeal which the patriotic fervor of the blood donor leads her to face without flinching. The circulatory system of the giver pumps the rich red vital fluid into the bottle, aided by the clasping and unclasping of the woman's hand under the doctor's orders. The quantity of blood withdrawn at one operation usually is about a pint. This blood, which the seal of the transfusion organization, the Servicio Oficial de Transfusion de Sangre, describes as the fountain of life, is destined, perhaps after a period of as long as 2 weeks, to restore strength and vitality to some shell-torn soldier at the front. Formerly, it was believed impossible to perform transfusions successfully except through direct contact between the giver and the receiver of the blood. About 1914, it was discovered, however, that by the use of an anticoagulant, it was possible to preserve the blood in its natural fluid form for an indefinite period. Because of the necessity of keeping it at a fixed low temperature, the bottled blood, after being sealed in its flask, marked with a date and type, is placed in a refrigerator for conveyance to the front and preservation until it is needed. Meanwhile, each of the proud and happy donors is given a certificate and a medal in recognition of her service. These young ladies are having a 5th bar added to the medals they have previously earned. At what may be called the receiving end of this service, a field treating station is established at any convenient spot, but as close as possible to the actual line of battle. In cases of extreme loss of blood or terrific shock, a prompt transfusion may be the only means of saving lives. Consequently, every effort is made to avoid lost time. By means of a small centrifugal pump, the preserved blood is transferred to the wounded man's vein. Medical care begins at the field dressing station, which the walking wounded reach on foot, and to which the more serious cases are carried by regimental stretcher bearers. Field dressing stations must be established at the nearest point to the line of battle to which ambulances can be driven. Here wounds receive a preliminary dressing. The cases are classified and prepared for transportation to the advanced base hospitals. Most ambulances have room for 9 stretcher cases, and the driver's seat is used to accommodate the walking wounded. The average ambulance load will consist of about 10 casualties, and it is not uncommon to encounter a single moving column of 200 field ambulances coming down from the front. A total of 2,000 suffering men in one caravan. This is one of the most tragic aspects of war. Here is none of the color and pageantry, no flags, no fanfare, only the grim, silent suffering of brave men in agony.